Hello, hello, hello. Pleasant good night to you. Happy Monday evening. And how are you? How is your evening? All right, welcome, welcome, welcome to the Hour of Restoration, brought to you by Ministries Without Boundaries. Ministries Without Boundaries is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. I'm Jasmine Gordon. As always, I stop by to encourage somebody, to empower, to enlighten, and to declare restore in Jesus' name. With this evening segment, I hope at the end, let's say this, I hope at the end of this evening's segment, somebody's lives or mind will be transformed. Indeed, it is time for everything that was stolen or held captive to be restored. See, for too long, you've been walking around empty-handed. You have lost so much. So many things have been taken away, so many things have been stolen. So many things have been stolen, so many things have been hijacked, so many things have been held in bondage and in captivity. But I stopped by this evening to share with you. It may be your marriage that's been going through turmoil at this time, and or you are considering getting married. You desire to get married. And as COVID, there are many people who are saying that because of COVID, they have drawn closer to each other. And on the other hand, you'll hear others say, because of COVID, the divorce rate is heightened. But I would like to share with you 10 tips, and it's not limited to. I'm sure there are way more than 10, but I'd like to share with you 10 tips to keep the fire in your marriage. Divorce is not the answer. Divorce is not from God. A lot of people have gone through divorce. I'm sure they hate it. And if it was up to them, the relationship would still be ongoing. But things do happen. And divorce happen especially when God is not in the midst. It's a triangle. You, the wife, you're on one side of the base. The husband is on the other side. And unfortunately, we tend to put our friends or families or someone else at the pinnacle instead of God. And because of that, you'll find the divorce rate skyrocketed. But I stopped by to tell someone this evening, maybe you're contemplating divorce. Maybe you've already signed the papers, but you don't have to go through with it. Can you look at your spouse the same way you looked at him or her when you just met? Can you still see each other with those eyes? Divorce will never be the answer unless you're being abused, whether it be emotionally, mentally, more so physically. I encourage you this evening to think twice. Think twice. And let me share with you quickly 10 tips. And like I said, it's not limited to 10, but just 10 to keep the fire burning in your marriage. And I'm sure if you would follow these 10 things or do these things, they're common things that we know to do off the top of our head, but do we do it? No, we don't. But I guarantee if you do, you'll keep the fire burning. First, number one, be respectful to each other. Not because you have her now or have him now, you think, okay, now you're equal so you can talk to him or her any old way. No, it doesn't work. You're still dealing with human being. Number two, be honest with each other no matter what. Avoid keeping secrets. And when I said keeping secrets, I'm not telling you, things that happened to you from you were a toddler, or, to bring it up now. There are some things better left unsaid, but I'm talking about in the marriage. If you know you have to keep a secret, don't do it. If you know whatever you're going to do, you can't tell her or can't tell him, then don't do it. So be honest with each other no matter what. Avoid keeping secrets. Number three, learn to forgive and learn to compromise. You are not perfect. He is not perfect. She is not perfect. The same way you would like God to forgive you, so you should forgive each other. There are some things that he will do or she will do that you can overlook. You can compromise. Here's a big one. Be sure, make sure, find time, make the time to go on lunch and or dinner dates. Even though you're married, this is when you should be dating. This is when you should be looking at each other with freshness in the eyes. Still go on lunch and or dinner dates. Make time for each other. And I said make time because we're living in a chaotic world, so busy. Many of us are working 2, 3, 4 jobs and we're tired. So, and in addition to being tired, it's like you don't have enough hours in the day for yourself, for your children, or your significant other, your loved ones. So make the time and take the time, even an hour out of the day. Call on the phone. Honey, can you meet me at this restaurant? Or honey, can you meet me here for dinner? Still take time to go on lunch and or dinner dates. And the next thing you want to do is make time for each other. Not for your girlfriends or guy friends, not for the phone or social media or your job. Many times, one spouse or both will complain that I can't get to talk to him because he's always on the phone, he's always on social media, he's always watching TV, he's always with his guy friends. The husband may complain of the same thing. She's always on the phone, she's always gone, she's always doing this. But you have to make time for each other. When you get married, you're not saying, oh, I own him now, or I own her now, so I'm just going to put him or her down as a trophy and dust him or her off when he or she gets dusty. No. After marriage, that's when the work begins. At least once per month, you should do weekend getaways. At least take one weekend out of the month and get away, go somewhere, to whether a retreat or a hotel, or just take that weekend off. If you have young children, get your neighbor, your friends, your family, whomever it is that can watch the children, and both of you go spend some quality time with each other. You can also do spontaneous one-night hotel stay. Do one night spontaneous hotel stay. Let's say you're the husband, the wife is home. You can pull up at the gate, call her from downstairs, and just start with that chat with her and said, you know what, honey, what are you doing? I'd like to take you out tonight. Um, just get whatever you want to tell her to take. Hey, and you just drive. Honey, where are we going? Well, you'll see. It's a surprise. You just go book into a hotel. You're married. You're legal. Go book into a hotel for the night and enjoy each other's company. So, another way you can keep the fire burning in your marriage is just do spontaneous one night hotel stay in addition to the weekend getaway. And both of you, I'm not speaking to just ladies and I'm not speaking to males only, I'm speaking to both. Keep your environment neat and clean. Keep your environment neat and clean. Ladies, if you're home, you know what's supposed to be done in the house. Men, if you're home, you know what the household needs. And, you can clean up after yourself too. Yeah? Still treat him. Ladies, still treat your husband as you did when you were a girlfriend. Can I let that one sink in for a minute? Still treat him as you did when you were the girlfriend. And men, still treat her as you would a girlfriend. It's so unfortunate. And what a wife is a legal girlfriend. A husband is a legal boyfriend. So can you look at each other, through those lenses? When you're a girlfriend, you tend to go bend backwards to do and overdo. And when, as a man, you tend to treat your girlfriend better than you would your wife at home. So if you see each other and still treat each other like a girlfriend and a boyfriend, then hey, tell me why it wouldn't last. I'm speaking tonight to individuals who are married and the fire seems as if it's being put out and they're about to go through a divorce. I stop by to say divorce is not the answer. And if you're not married but desire to be married, when you're married, you can apply these things and more. All right? So still treat him as you did when you were the girlfriend. And sir, still treat her as if she's the girlfriend. And most importantly, be sure to do devotions together. Pray together. Fast together. What if you're married the wrong person? Someone asked. If you are married to the wrong person, which is possible, and many times a lot of people fall in that trap, but there's nothing too hard for God to do. He can turn things around, and I'm sure if you are in the marriage and find out that's the wrong person, if you pause for a moment and be still, look back, reflect, you will hear that you were told, whether by God, the Holy Spirit, or someone, that that's not your wife, don't marry her, or that's not your husband, don't marry him. And many times we get into trouble because of our emotions. So hence, we end up with the wrong person. But like I said before, all things are possible. If you see each other now, because you married the wrong person, it's a reason why you became attracted to that person in the first place to even get to marriage. So now you have to make do with what you have. You have to make do with what you have. So what are you going to do now? Now you're going to go back to God and say, God, I know you were telling me not to marry her. I know you were telling me not to marry him. But here I am. I disobeyed, and I know there will be a consequence. But God, I know you don't like divorce. So I'll work it out. Can you help me? And if it's a him or a her, whoever is having the issue, just go to each other and say, okay, this is the issue. Because if you're feeling that, 10 to 1 chance, if you're the woman and you're feeling that you're married to the wrong person, he may be feeling the same thing, that that's not my wife, I shouldn't have married her. And if that situation is not dealt with on time or not communicated, then it's only going to get worse. Things can change, things can turn around if you approach it from the godly point of view. From the godly side of it, if you approach it that way, it can turn around. You can grow to love each other. A lot of people get married, one person is in love and another one is only tolerating and said, okay, like I think a few nights ago I did 20 things to know before you say I do. So a lot of people, especially women, unfortunately, we're tolerating and thinking, okay, our love will grow. And so sometimes it will, sometimes, and it can, but are we patient enough? Are we patient enough? Because once we find out that something is not going right, as human beings, the eyes start looking elsewhere. Am I right or am I right? Unfortunately. So if you find out that you're married to the wrong person, God can turn it around if you wish. What do you say about that, Sister Ruth? Did I answer that? All right, so tonight we are talking about, I'm sharing 10 tips, but not limited to keep the fire burning in your marriage where you don't have to get a divorce. You can talk to each other. Communication is another big thing. Not just mere talking, but communicating. Because you can talk all day long, all night long, but if you're not communicating, and most of the time in a relationship when people are married, you find out now they don't have a dialogue, it's only a monologue, and that does not work. It takes two. It takes two. So, if you're passing by and you're about to go through a divorce, think twice. Divorce is not of God. We already know that marriages are under attack. Marriage is a union created by God. The devil doesn't like it, so he intervenes and he causes chaos in the family, in the relationship. Well, I can't stand him. I can't stand her. Oh, I can't stand to look at him. I can't stand to look at her. All of that. Does that sound godly? Think about this. The way you're feeling about your spouse right now, your husband or your wife. Think about it for a minute. Is that godly? Well, I'm falling out of love. Were you in love in the first place? What I know for sure is that when you love someone, you never stop loving them. Even when you physically can't get along and can't be in the same space, you can't stop loving them. So there's no such thing as falling out of love. If you're falling out of love, that means you weren't in love in the first place. It's been said that infatuation lasts anywhere from 1 day to 36 months. So you can truly say you love someone when that love or that relationship goes through the ringer and stand the test of time. Divorce is not the answer. Separation is not the answer. However, I strongly believe that some relationship needs a holiday, needs a vacation, need time apart from each other to think things through, think things over, how best we can handle this. If both of you cannot sit down and communicate and work it through. And I strongly advise counseling, if your pastor can't do it, or you find a professional counselor. But make divorce the last resort. Yes, the Bible does give permission to divorce under one condition: if there's fornication, if there's adultery in the marriage, then you have the right to divorce. When Moses told them that they could divorce, and Jesus was saying, and the disciples and the Pharisees and Sadducees, they had an issue with that and saying, but Moses said you could divorce, give them a written bill of divorcement. And Jesus said that's because of the hardness of your heart. So even though your husband or your wife may be caught in adultery, you can still forgive him. You can still forgive her. You can still come together and talk about the situation. But Sister Jasmine, what if he doesn't want to talk? What if she doesn't want to talk? The Bible says if the man want to leave or if the woman want to leave, let them go. Let them go. But still be prayerful. Still be prayerful. Pray for your spouse. Pray for your marriage. Pray for your relationship. Because you know right away that there is an interference, a spirit of interference there. Whether it stems from lust or a three-party interference. And one of these evenings we will be talking about lust. Did we? No, I talk about stronghold. I spoke about stronghold of the mind. I will be talking about stronghold of the flesh and lust as well, as the Lord leads. So if you're passing through on this evening and your relationship, your marriage is in turmoil and you're thinking of divorce, I'm asking you, please stop. Pause for a moment and ask, is this of God? Is this what God wants? But he's beating me. She's beating me. He's physically abusing me. Then I'm going to tell you, walk away. Walk away. God will fix it and God will work it out. You're not going to stay there and be a doormat, even though you're supposed to be submissive, not a doormat, not a punching bag. So you have women who beat men too. You have men who beat women. So in a relationship like that, I'm not going to tell you to stay. And I don't think God will tell you to stay. A lot of church people are still in marriages because of what people may say, what others may say. They're not even thinking about what God's going to say. They're not thinking about what God is going to say. They stay in that marriage and they stayed and they entertain the abuse. They embrace the abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, and then they put on that pretty smile for church on Sunday morning or Sabbath morning, whatever day you go to church. But I stopped by to encourage you this evening. Divorce is not the answer. You are the one wearing the shoes. You know the pinch. You're the one going through it right now. I don't. I don't know the depth of your pain. I don't know the depth of your struggles. I don't know. Someone may say, well, I'm divorcing my husband because he's having extramarital affair with another man. I'm divorcing my wife because she's having extramarital affair with another woman. What do I do? Some may say, well, I'm divorcing my husband because he's beating me. He's on drugs. He's this, he's that. Whatever your pain is, I may not know, but God does. Some extremes will take extreme measures. But the little simple things that people divorce about, those simple things that a wife and husband look at each other and said, you know what, I can't take this because you always leave your socks here. I can't take this because you never comb your hair. You don't do your nails anymore. You don't wear makeup. Those are simple, crazy things. Did you love him in the first place? Did you love her in the first place? So these are the areas that you can compromise about. If she's not dressing the way she used to, if she's not looking the way she used to, can you give her a reason to start dressing up again for you? And if he's not doing what he's supposed to do, can you give him a reason for him to start doing it again? He showed it to you then. Simple means he has it in him. She showed it to you then, simple means she has it in her. So can both of you come together and give each other a reason to live again? Can you both come together and give each other a reason to make the marriage work? Can you come together and give each other a reason to keep the fire burning in your marriage? Should I repeat the 10 reasons again? Why 10 reasons to keep the fire burning? I'll do it quickly. Number 1, be respectful to each other. Number 2, be honest with each other no matter what. Avoid keeping secrets. Learn to forgive and compromise. Be sure to go on lunch and or dinner dates. Make time for each other, not just your girlfriends or guy friends, the phone, social media, or your job. At least once per month, you should do weekends getaways. You can also do spontaneous one-night hotel stay. Pull up at the gate and call from downstairs, honey, I'm outside. I want to take you out tonight. Okay, get ready, I'm waiting. And you just go to the hotel room. Okay, keep your environment neat and clean. Still treat him as you did when you were a girlfriend. Sir, still treat her as you would your girlfriend. Still treat your wife as you would your girlfriend. And wife, treat your husband as you did when you were a girlfriend. And the most important, you must have devotions and prayer time together. So those are the 10 tips I want to leave with you this evening to keep the fire burning in your marriage and to say no to divorce. Divorce is not a pretty thing. It's not easy. It's not nice. It doesn't feel good, I'm sure. So, can you think twice this evening? Can you have a meeting with your other half? If you're a man and you're listening to this, can you go home, call your wife, and have a decent communication with her about your relationship? And if you're a woman listening, can you find a way to get your husband's attention? Not when he's mad, not when he's angry about something. Try to get him in that good mood and approach him when he's in that good mood and say, honey, you know what? I have something I want to talk to you about. Not with a stern voice or a stern look. Make sure you put on that happy voice. So this way he won't put up his antenna thinking, oh, okay, what is she coming with now? Just come with a happy voice as if it's nothing. It's nothing. Honey, let's talk about, you know what? I want to run this by you. Yeah, how about those words? Honey, I would like to run this by you to see what you think about it. Let's take a walk to the park. Let's go somewhere, on the ocean side, the boardwalk, and do something fun. So don't attack him. See, he will say, whatever your name is, I need to talk to you, and you're ready to sit down. But if you go with that same tone and said, honey, or John, or Tom, I need to talk to you, right away he get defensive. He may not say it, but in his heart, he's already prepared for the worst. And think worse if you're a nagging wife, worse if you're one who's always yapping, so just make sure you put on that happy voice because it's nothing. You just want to work this out. You remember where you're coming from. You remember the nice things you used to do. You remember the nice things he used to do for you, the nice places you used to go, and all those things. So you want to have that again. So just said, honey, I need to run something by you, but I don't want to stay in the house. I need some fresh air. Let's go to the park or the boardwalk. You remember when we used to go to the boardwalk? You remember when we used to go to the park? Oh, maybe we could go get some ice cream. Maybe we could do this, could do that. And then you start talking, all right? And don't even Talk as if you're commanding. Don't put on that commanding voice or that mama's voice or that wife voice. Put on the girlfriend voice, the girlfriend that doesn't want that man to leave. Yeah. So, again, a disclaimer. I'm not a relationship therapist. Just have some common sense and wisdom. I'm a woman. Hey. So, this is it for this evening. I do hope that someone who crosses path with these words tonight were encouraged, empowered, enlightened, and I do hope that your mind, your heart is being transformed, and you will go home and work on what you hear here. Right? Remember, yesterday is gone. It's in the tomb. Can't get it back. But tomorrow is not yet born. It's still in the womb. Today, it's life. Live it as if it's your last. And don't forget that God can do more for you in 5 minutes than you can do for yourself in a lifetime. All you have to do is make the choice, and God will make the changes. But it's your choice that will determine your destiny. It's your choice that will determine where you spend eternity. It's your choice that will determine with whom you spend eternity. Good evening to my mentor, Miss Rashika Lyman. Good evening, ma'am. Miss Winsome, all the way from the UK. All the way from the UK. Pleasant good evening to you. Would that be evening? Let me see. You're 5 hours ahead of me, so maybe morning? Yeah, morning for you. So good morning to you, Miss Rashika, Miss Ruth Bailey. Thank you guys for keeping me company. Thank you so much. And may God continue to bless you. Once again, I'm Jasmine Gordon saying good night.